I'm a game developer, and this is the insane Minecraft-inspired dating sim I spent the past year making.
Oh, this is cool!
But today, we're gonna take this dumb project all the way to an official Steam game. Just a year ago, when I made my first prototypes for this game, I barely knew how to code. And now I'll attempt what 90% of developers fail, publishing their first game. The thing is, if I don't make it, I can't afford rent anymore. And if I do make it, I'm gonna get myself a little ice cream. So here's how the game itself is gonna go. You're a new student at Cubiversity, and it's your first day at the crafting club. To initiate you, the club assigns you a project. You're gonna have to choose a group of students, and over the course of a week, eliminate them one by one until you end up with your project partner. Together, you're gonna craft something interesting to present to the class.
We have invented teleportation!
And maybe you go on a little date after, who knows? For context, this is my third attempt at this, which means we already have a bunch of characters we can start from, as well as these 4 backgrounds. We're gonna grab all this from the honestly terrible previous attempts and put them into an actually good game. First of all, we're gonna need a basic playable project with some core mechanics and a working menu. So I put together a barely decent main menu from which we're gonna start the game. And since this is gonna be a text-based dating sim, we need a basic dialogue system, for which I went and installed this extension called Dialogic, which is totally not gonna give me any issues whatsoever along the way.
Just invaded the main menu now. How do I fix this?
To start off easy, I'm gonna grab the first 6 characters we already have and throw them into the project. We got Chrissy, the shy anime-obsessed girl, Andy, the edgy coder guy, Blair, the flaming sporty one, Jerry, the himbo surfer, Jean, the dragon head of the crafting club, and Wally the baker with a dark secret. I went and set up their voices and music and a basic timeline with dialogue with Chrissy. In just 3 days, the progress was looking pretty good. We have somewhere to start the game, and we can make characters say stuff. Now let's think about how we're gonna structure this thing. Hopefully at the end we're gonna have a total of 15 characters, which is honestly, as a single developer, probably too many. Not to mention, with that many characters, between good and bad ones, we're gonna have 30 endings. So we have all this set up, but we don't really have the 15 characters we're supposed to. We're gonna need the original 6 characters from the first game, plus the 6 from the second game, and that makes 12. So I've hit up my great friend Tanupoki for some more art. And now we have a first draft for one of the new characters, Faye, the Snow Fox.
Oh my god, okay.
Hi Faye, I'm a huge fan actually.
We're gonna be an amazing team.
God, I can't wait for this to be the last time I ever talk to her.
We're also gonna get to use Seth the skeleton and Zoe the zombie, but those will come later, bear with me. With all those characters, the only way to make any of their stories significant is to make the player focus on groups of 5 at a time. So I made a very basic menu for choosing 5 at the start of the game. This is gonna get much better eventually, but it works for now. With a good base for things, I can't keep using this joke of a background. So to get an idea of what our map's gonna look like, I used some extremely professional 3D design software to create a model for the park, and then I took 4 days to relearn how to use my hands to draw, and made an updated, honestly insanely improved version. And I also made a night version, which is eventually gonna snowball into something much bigger. Would you look at that?
Oh cool, there's days now!
While I was at it, I figured I should probably create a background for the choice and elimination menus. It made sense that this would happen in the classroom, so I got to work on one where you're facing the teacher's desk, and 4 different backgrounds, perfectly placed in perspective to create this dynamic scrolling menu. We'll have all the characters sit at the desks, and this way you can move through the class to choose the ones you want. When I tried to put Jerry in the classroom though, his surfboard was missing the end here, and I didn't really know how to draw it, so I just broke it in half. Next, we currently don't really have a way to move between the different scenes, like the main menu, elimination screen, map, or dialogue, so I made this whole transition system where it fades to black with this cool effect, and we're also gonna use this to transition to this ending screen. I'm still using these old postcards I made a year ago for the endings, but it's gonna get much better later. Eventually, we're also gonna make sure the player can collect these postcards in an album in the main menu. So 1 month in, while riddled with issues and with still no dialogue to be found yet, we have a game that looks and feels like a serious project, with all the old characters, a few new backgrounds, a proper dialogue system, and surprisingly playable all the way from main menu to the ending. Which means it's also time to set up a Steam page for the game. We wanna have this up and running as soon as possible so people can wishlist it. Hold on, I haven't checked if there's any other game called Lovecraft on Steam though. Oh no. Let me just Yeah.
Lovecraft without a space could never pull this off.
They could never, bro.
And let me tell you, they are pulling a lot of stuff off in that game.
Oh my god. Now, you might notice I'm wearing this epic Chrissy shirt, and you can have it too. That's right. I just put together my first merch drop, and we got a shirt for each of the original characters in any color you want. These 6 sticker sets you can go grab right now, and for the real OGs, the official Kitsu hat is in stock. Gang, this stuff is insane quality. It's not one of those bad prints that flake when you wash it. The fabric is straight up dyed directly, and it's the softest thing you'll ever lay your hands on. And the sticker sets have this awesome computer window design with the first 12 characters. If we sell enough of them, maybe we can make some merch for the new ones as well, like plushies for Andy and the rest of the gang. Who knows? Go grab the merch on Toiu.store right now, or right here under the video. And now it's time for the real work to begin. Our next objective is to have a feature complete and actually polished game. For context, the 2 previous times I've attempted to make a dating sim like this, I used Ren'Py, which is an engine that does everything under the hood for you, and basically all you gotta do is write the dialogue. But this wasn't Ren'Py, this was Godot. So every single system, every single bit of functionality for the game, I was gonna be making from scratch. And by the end, oh boy did I. So everything I did up until now was just remaking my own basic systems, replacing Ren'Py. Now here's the thing. At this point, I was still convinced that this was gonna be a silly little YouTube project like the rest, and a normal person would have just waited a bit for the new character art to be done, made a little video, and that's it. But no. I decided to make Cubiversity here feel more cohesive. So I was gonna make the player able to move around campus freely, which means instead of my dumb little sets that I had around here, I now had to build the entire Cubiversity building in a way that actually made sense. Which then turned into this map menu where you can get an overview of the whole building, which honestly completely snowballed this project into something huge. The way we're gonna move around here is by making these head icons, spreading them around the map randomly every day, and the player can choose who to talk to in the various locations, which is how we pick the background. Since the positions are randomized, I also had the deranged idea to write lines for each character about each possible location they can be found at, so that makes it more modular, dynamic, and makes each run different. And also, like, quadruples the amount of work I'm gonna have to do. But that's okay, because I really want that ice cream. Just the general functionality of how to get this map done has made me go completely insane, so I'm not even gonna get into it. When I go to a character, it goes to that character's timeline. Okay, good news is that now when you hover over one of these head icons, the buttons at the bottom also get highlighted and vice versa. Oh, thank god this works, I did not think this would work. To make everything look clean, I also tested my drawing skills by making these clouds by hand, and it's crazy how nice this whole thing turned out. Since we have the entire map now and the roof is visible here, we might as well turn it into a few more locations. So I made this volleyball court in the middle part and a greenhouse on the left wing. This whole thing took me 5 days and probably stole 5 years off the top of my lifespan, so I was very excited for what the next step was going to do to me. So we're like 2, maybe 3 months in, and even though you might think the game looks to be in a pretty good state, you might also ask, but Toiu, the numbers aren't adding up. How did this take 1 year? Well, Jake, from this point on it gets so crazy, I kinda stopped keeping track of time. However, here's a rundown of a few days of work. I made a little animation for the buttons in the map, I fixed the broken, destroyed pause menu, I made this screen where you can choose your name, also this modular system for tracking what each location a character has been during a game loop, I added karma scores with each character that decide whether you get a good or a bad ending, and I made different endings for everyone accordingly, I made a heart icon to represent your position on the map, and a custom mouse cursor that updates over interactable things. I also made all of these things, character descriptions when you choose people, I made a script I can call from anywhere to play sounds I need, and also turned this really bad menu where you choose your name into an acceptance letter you have to sign, which looks much cooler. And I animated all the backgrounds. All of them now have individual images that are animated through code. I had to make a custom script to spawn infinite random cherry blossoms. Oh, and also a lot of other things that I'm not even gonna showcase because this document is infinite. And since we have all these features, let's throw in all the other characters from the previous game as well. We got Celine, the science nerd slime, Pierce, the chess chaos-obsessed business guy, Mabel, the cottagecore cowgirl, Brian, the plane designer, head in the clouds dude, Gwen, the punk ghost baddie, and Stanley, the insane janitor who lives in the bushes. Let's make new head icons for them and everything, and the class is looking more alive than ever. So now that we have all the characters, except for the 3 new ones, I'll go ahead and put together the ending postcards. So yeah, that's how 2 months turn into a year. Now if I don't want people to go insane if they close their game, I'll add a quick autosave system every time you get back to the map, which was definitely super simple to do. A big step was also to make the save include the dialogue history, so I can keep track of what the player has already read, so they can skip it later with this skip thingy I made. To do all this, I have to save a file to the user folder to store that data even if the game is uninstalled, which means this now 100% counts as a virus. That's how that works apparently.
I don't know what I should do here.
Windows
It
Protect
just,
your
the
PC.
option just says don't run.
So I know it sounds insane, but we got through the most important steps of the process and we have an actual functioning game system. And we're approaching the final steps, finishing up and integrating this thing into Steam. Huh? What's that? The new characters are all done! We got Faye, the J-pop idol Snow Fox, Seth, the artist Skeleton, and Zoe, the skateboarder zombie. And I'm so excited because I get to spend hours making new icons for them, new ending postcards, and adding them to the class choice as well. Hey Toiu, you might ask, this is all looking fine and dandy, but this is a dating sim, right? So did you work on the character's dialogue at all? Well, it took the combined effort of me and my girlfriend, who admittedly is a much better writer than me and did most of the work, 2 entire months to work only on the scripts, because they're the equivalent length of a 300-page novel. And then I had to go and turn all of that into demon speak. Yeah, every time you see the cute fox girl jump up and down like that, it means my ass has to type this in every time. Sorry if that ruins anything for you. And I'm not even gonna get into how insanely difficult it is to brainstorm and write characters that are actually compelling, with an engaging background that slowly gets revealed over the time you spend with them.
I'll show you where ideas bloom in the dark.
This guy talks like a fucking Elden Ring NPC, man.
And that have deep, dark secrets to unveil.
Whoa, dude, what the hell? Dude, I thought he was gonna disintegrate.
Okay, now we finally get to integrate this with Steam. The first layer consists of setting up a small script to check if Steam is installed and making the Steam overlay work, which honestly props to Steam and the makers of the Godot Steam ecosystem, because this was really easy to do, and it's also pretty crazy to see. The next most basic thing we can do to test things out is make Steam achievements, which actually do work. So I spent the next 2 days desperately drawing icons, and now we got 30 of them, one for each ending. I'm gonna be honest, you might think this is pretty in-depth, but it's insane how much optimization, cool features, and UI redesigns I had to skip over. Not to mention accessibility options like different fonts for dyslexia or just style, and full controller support. The game is basically unrecognizable with how much better it looks right now compared to what I showed in this video. And it's also playable entirely with only a mouse, which means you can play it with one hand if you're, I don't know, multitasking. Well, we're getting close to release, so it's time to make the store page look way better, so I made some gifs for the game description, which for some reason were a complete nightmare to create. Oh, wait, Steam is updating the page structure, it now supports video instead of GIF. And it's all larger, so I have to redo the whole thing. God damn, that's done! Now we're left with the final and most important step. We're gonna send the game to Steam for review, and hopefully they approve it. Oh no. Okay, the app has failed review because there's features listed they couldn't verify. Revealing outfits. Stimulation. Okay, no, hold on. Okay, no, hold on. Please provide a save file we can use to verify these features. Okay, Larry, chill out. I guess I just sort of misinterpreted what they meant by revealing outfits, because to me, this is not up to normal university dress code. If the file needs to be moved, please provide instructions when you resubmit the app for review. Alright, Larry, if you really wanted to see it that bad, you didn't have to be so formal about it. And we're gonna send Larry a quick message. Okay, so we made it.
That was it! Oh, man.
I really enjoyed it. I'm curious about the other endings now, the other characters.
This is so hype. I've never even played a dating sim game before, but like this is so fun.
You gotta put a space in that credit scroll.
You are right! The game is out now on Steam at 40% off, which is the biggest discount they allowed me to put on it. So go grab Lovecraft with a space right now. If we somehow beat the other one, I'm adding what Larry suggested, okay? I'll do anything.